Good morning. Today we're in lesson 3 of Unit 1 for math, and we're going to really discuss 3 different things. We're going to review rounding and come up with a rule for rounding. You're going to compare large numbers and some small numbers and find which one is larger using greater than or less than symbols. And then we're going to do something similar to that, but on number lines and timelines and placing those numbers and estimating about where they go. And so today you're going to need your pencil and your workbook, and that should be it. And so let's get started with rounding, right? And so if we first ask ourselves some questions, what do you remember about rounding numbers? Well, hopefully you remember that rounding numbers means you find about how much a number is. You're not dealing with exact numbers. You don't need the exact answer. Well, sometimes we do it when we want to save ourselves time, or especially when we're dealing with large numbers. We think, well, we have there were about 20,000 people at the stadium. You wouldn't say 20,100, 143. So we do it when we want to make numbers easier to work with. And then a rounded number is what we call an approximate value, right? And so some other words you might hear that we associate with rounding: approximate, about how much, or an estimate. So those words are usually keywords that tell us, hey, we're going to have to round here. Okay, so that approximate might be a new one, approximate value. Okay, so let's get into how we round and let's get a visual for it. So we know we've looked at these numbers. If we have, over the past few days, the visuals, if we have 4 quick tens, we have 40. If we only have 3 quick tens, we have 30. We have 3 quick tens and our 7 ones. This number represents 37. Well, when we round, we say, what number, if we're going to round to the tens place, we're going to say, what number is 37 closer to? Is it closer to 40 or is it closer to 30? Well, this picture can help us with that. And so we can see that we're only 3 ones away from getting all the way to 40, but we have to lose all 7 of these ones to get back to 30. And so 37 is closer to 40 than it is to 30. So we would say the rounded value of 37 to the nearest tens place would be 40. Okay, and so let's review on how to do that with not just tens, but hundreds and thousands as well. And so we have kind of a cheat sheet here for us. It says when we're rounding to the tens place, we look at the ones. Well, we got to figure out what those are. Here's our ones and here's our tens. And so find our tens. We have a 6 in our tens. Okay, so right off the bat, we know that this number is either going to stay as a 6 or go up to a 7. Those are our only 2 options. Well, we got to look next door in the ones. Next door, we have an 8. Well, 8 is 2 away from going up the next place value, but 8 away from going back down. Or think of it as we're at 68 right now. Is that closer to 70 or is it closer to 68? Well, it's only 2 away from 70. So our rounded answer for this is going to be 4,370. We use that exact same process when we're dealing with hundreds. Well, ones, tens, and now hundreds. So let's find our hundreds. So this 3, right? Now let's think of our only 2 options when we round. A number has 2 options. It's either going to go up to a 4 or stay the same, or we call it going down to a 3, even though it stays the same. So we got to look next door at our tens. So the numbers we're thinking about is either this 368 is going to turn into a 300 or go up to a 400. Well, 368, halfway in between 300 and 400 is 350. So this 368 is closer to 400 than it is to going down to 300. And so we would say we'd round that up to 4,400. Okay, and so we can also round to the thousands place. And when we do that, we have to find our thousands. Of course, we have ones, tens, hundreds, and now thousands. And it says we now got to look at the hundreds place to determine what to do. So this number, our 2 options are it either goes down to 4,000 and all this becomes zeros, right? The larger place value we round to, the more zeros we're going to end up with. Or it's going to round up to 5,000. Well, this 3 here, if we think of this as 368, is it closer to going up to the next 1,000 or down? Well, if we are halfway in between 4 and 5,000, that would be 4,500. So that's our middle point. 4,368 is below that. Okay? And so what that means is our new number when we round to the thousands place is simply 4,000, because this 3 tells us it's closer to 4,000 than it is to 5,000. Okay? And so that's one way to think of it. You can draw those pictures and you can see how much of your diagram you have. Is it closer to the next place value up, or does it go back down one below? So if we think sometimes we want to draw these out, right? And you definitely can. And so we draw out 246. And if we're going to round it to the nearest hundreds place, we would look at that and we'd say, all right, here's my 2. And I got to look next door. There's my 4. Does that mean I'm going to go down to 200 or up to 246? This one's really, really close, right? If it had 4 more ones, it would be right in the middle. And there's something we do when it's in the middle, and I'll let you know what that is. But this one is just slightly closer to 200 than it would be to 300. In fact, it would need 54 more ones, or 54 more, to get to 300. So we would say that this one, we would round to 200 because it's closer to 200 than it is to 300. Okay, so let's practice one more time. I want to round to the nearest 10 because this is what you're going to be doing in your workbook. So let's see if we can think about this, okay? And see if you can come up with a rule on how this works, and you might already have one. So I look at my place value chart here, tens chart. Okay, so here's my tens place, and I remember I got to look 1 to the right. So I move over 1, 4. Okay, so is 54 closer to 50, or is it closer to 60? Well, 8,300. Yeah, that 4 tells me I got to round this down to 350. So my rounded number is 8,350. Okay, if I do that same thing with the hundreds, I know this is my hundreds now. Look 1 over. Right now I have 8,354. The hundreds place, well, that 5, that 54, right? That's going to get me up to 400 because this 5 is closer to the next place up. Anytime you see a 5, that's going to be a signal. We're going to round up. So this number is 8,400 because of the 5. You might remember a saying from last year that I'm going to tell you next in the next step. Okay, so now we round to the thousands place. And that 3 is a small number. It's less than 5. So we say, oh, this is going to round down to 8,000. Okay, and so that's what you're going to be working on in your workbook today. Let's see if this makes sense. 4 or less, let it rest. 5 or more, let it soar. So when you look over to that place value 1 over, if it's 4 or less, that number stays the same. It rests. If it's 5 or more, let it soar. And soar means go up. So that's how you're going to raise that number up to the next digit. So let's do some examples. So go ahead and open up to page 9. And we're going to try some of these. I'll do a couple examples for you, and then I'll have you pause and finish, okay? So we're going to start by rounding to the nearest thousands place, okay? So my ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So 4 or less, let it rest. But that's for this number here. And that's a 2. I better erase that so you don't see it all covered up. All right, and so our 2 is less than 5. 4 or less, let it rest. So this number is going to stay the same. So this number simply becomes 1,000. That's it. Now to the nearest 100 place. Okay, well, this number only goes out to the 100. So I look next door, and from in the tens place, I see it's 3. 4 or less, let it rest. So that 7 stays the same. So our number is simply 700. And then the last one, we're rounding to the tens place, and I'll choose the big number here. So I'm in the tens place, it's a 6. I look next door to tell me what to do. 5 or more, let it soar. So that 6 then has to go up 1 value. Everything to the left is going to stay the same. So 2,100, and instead of 65, now it's 70, because that 5 told me it has to go up to the next place value. Go ahead and pause your video and try and do these problems on page 9. When you're done, we'll be ready to move on. If you need any help, jump back into the Google Meet and we will figure it out. All right, so now we're going to compare numbers to thousands, and this is really review. You can use some diagrams if you need to. In fact, I'm going to make you for a few of them, and then if you want them for the next ones, if that helps you, you grab your whiteboard and a marker and you can make them. Okay, so we're going to use these symbols. We call these greater than and less than. You're probably familiar with these. And the problem says Jim has 24 trading cards and Hattie has 42 trading cards. Who has more trading cards and how do you know? Well, really how you know is from the picture. You can show that, right? So 24 could be represented like this and 42 covers up more area, more space. So you just know that's a larger number. And this is the symbol, the greater than. So we want to get good at using these correctly. Sometimes you might have heard, think of it as an alligator mouth and it wants to eat the larger number. So the opening always points to the larger number. So this says 24 is less than 42, or you could say 42 is greater than 24. You also might have some numbers that are equal, okay? And so you're going to be doing numbers 19 through 36, and you're not going to do them at your tables unless you might be working at a table. But for 3, I want you to go ahead and draw the picture out, right? And even though I know you know which one is going to be bigger, right, I want you to prove it. And here, I know I'm going to say 26 is less than 29, and I drew the picture to do that. So go ahead and you can pause the video now and try and finish page 10 with all the greater than and less than. If you have any questions, like I said, jump into the Google Meet. Okay, now the last step of today's lessons is number lines and timelines. So this is very similar to ordering numbers, except we're just going to place it on a visual timeline. And so you can order numbers by arranging them from least number to greatest number or greatest number to least. And so what we want to work on today is I want you to try and draw and label these 3 numbers on this number line. And so you can see some of these, like 600 is already here, so you would just put 600 up there. But 350 is a little trickier. If you look, you have every 100 is marked on the number line. Well, these halfway points then, what are those going to be? Oops. So this would be halfway in between 300 and 400 is 350. So this is where I would label 350. Okay, I got that one done. Go ahead and label the other parts and then write them in order down here. And then this one's a little trickier too. Look what these go up by. So once again, we're going up by 100 each time with larger numbers, but we have more gaps in the middle. And so in between here is 2050. And so these all go up by 25. So keep that in mind. They're going up by 25. So now when you're labeling these numbers, make sure you're using your landmarks here that are already labeled, but then go up by 25 with each tally. Okay? And then try and write the numbers from greatest to least. Okay. And then now you're doing the exact same thing, but you're just doing it without the number line. So we want to write the numbers in order from least to greatest. Excuse me, least to greatest. So least means smallest. And so the way I would do this one is I would say, okay, well, I have 994, 748, 906, 876. Well, this one has to be my smallest because it's the only one in the 700s. All the others are larger. I can cross that one off. Oh, I can also cross this one off. I know this is next because the other 2 are bigger. They're over 900. And so I can move that over. Now I have 876. Well, now it's between these 2. All I'm comparing is 6 to 94. Well, 906 is less than 994. So my answer would look like that. Okay? And then this one, don't get fooled. Now you're going backwards. Greatest to least, or biggest to smallest. Okay? So the very last page that you're going to be working on is entering these into a timeline. And so I did the first one for you. You are going to take these points from the table, or these dates, and put them on the timeline, right? Just like I did here. So 2015 is labeled here. You're going to label 1989, 1978, 1927, and 1939. Try and get them as close to accurate as you can. So think about 1989. It's almost 1990, but not quite. Should your dot go closer to 1980 or 1990? Where you're going to put that, okay? And then you want you to answer these questions. Which event happened first? Write the years of the events in order from earliest year to latest, and then write the question that can be answered by the timeline. Okay? Include the answer too, so you're creating your own question. Okay, guys, I know that was a lot today. Hopefully we broke it up enough for you. But finish all these pages, 9 through 12 for lesson 3. If you have any questions, ask your teacher for help. When you finish, check back in and show your work. All right, good luck.